There are moments in life when a person's soul shows itself without warning. John Calvin said the human heart makes new masks every day, but God removes them with a simplicity that almost unsettles us. And when He does, you finally see who someone really is. There are two quiet moments when no one can fake anything. When they're standing in front of the invisible ones and when they hear the simplest word we have, no. Learn to notice these moments and you'll never be misled again. They're like open windows into the truth many try to hide. There are people who believe character shows itself in polished speeches, practiced smiles, or carefully crafted behavior. But Calvin warned that true godliness doesn't live on the surface. It lives in the secret place where no one is watching. It's easy to seem good when everything is under control. What's hard is keeping the soul intact when no one can see you. In this video, we're going to walk through two quiet signs that reveal the human heart more clearly than long conversations ever could. I'll share real stories, simple analogies, and experiences you've probably lived yourself. My goal isn't to make you suspicious of others, but to help you discern wisely. Because guarding your heart is just as spiritual as loving your neighbor. John Calvin said that true humility shows itself when there's nothing to gain. That's why the way someone treats the invisible ones, the people the world considers small, reveals more about their soul than any declaration of faith. A person shows who they are through what they do, not what they say. Maybe you've seen this. Someone speaks harshly to a waiter, a clerk, or a doorman, yet treats their boss with sweetness. That contrast isn't an accident, it's a diagnosis. Anyone who needs someone to have value before offering respect was never respectful to begin with. They were only negotiating. Think of it as a silent test. Every time someone honors a stranger, smiles at someone exhausted, or looks in the eyes of a person who has nothing to offer, you're seeing a heart shaped by God. But when someone steps on the lowly, it's only a matter of time before they step on you too. There's a small word that shatters any appearance: no. Calvin believed the heart reveals its true condition when our desires are interrupted. It's in that moment of frustration that the soul speaks without a mask, because no one reacts gracefully to being denied unless humility already lives inside them. Maybe you've lived this. Someone was sweet until you said you couldn't help, couldn't lend something, couldn't be available. Suddenly the voice changes, the eyes harden, the silence becomes punishment. The affection disappears as if it never existed at all. That isn't a wounded heart, it's a heart that loved its own will. The genuine person is different. When you say no, they don't demand, pressure, or manipulate. They understand without hurting you. Just as a cup only spills what it holds when it's shaken, a soul only reveals what it carries when it's contradicted. And that reaction tells you everything about who stands before you. There are people whose kindness only works when there's something to gain. They're warm with those who can open doors for them, but impatient with anyone who has nothing to offer. Calvin said pride has the ability to dress itself as virtue. But virtue that evaporates when it's inconvenient is nothing more than social strategy. And strategy never reveals the heart, only the interest. You can spot this false kindness in the small details. The smile that disappears when the person in front of them doesn't matter. The impatience toward the simple, the coldness toward the humble. Selective kindness is the clearest evidence that there is no love, only calculation. Someone who treats others well only when they need something will never be trustworthy, because when the advantage ends, the affection ends with it. It's easy to look at others, but sooner or later, we realize we stumble in the same places. We've all treated someone with less patience than they deserved. We've all hardened when we were contradicted. Calvin reminded us that the human heart leans toward pride, and admitting that isn't humiliation. It's the beginning of the healing God offers. When the Spirit exposes our flaws, He doesn't do it to crush us, but to rebuild us. These moments are invitations to adjust our tone, soften our response, and cultivate gentleness. Humility grows when we allow God to shape our reactions, and little by little, the soul learns to stay kind even when its desires aren't fulfilled. Discerning these two revelations, how someone treats the invisible and how they react to no, isn't about judging people, but about protecting your heart. Calvin said that fellowship shapes the soul, meaning the people around us deeply influence our character. Walking with the upright strengthens your faith. Walking with the unstable wears down your peace. So observe calmly and choose wisely. True friendship doesn't demand performance, doesn't require forced presence, and doesn't use silence as punishment. Surrounding yourself with sincere people is one of the most practical ways to guard your spiritual life. God doesn't call us to suspect everyone, but to recognize those who truly walk in the light. In the end, a person's soul is revealed in the quietest gestures. It shows itself when they stand before those the world overlooks and when they face the frustration of a simple no. These two subtle moments expose who we truly are, not to shame us, but to remind us where God still desires to shape us. Carry this wisdom not as a burden, but as protection. Watch without bitterness, choose without fear, and walk without naivety. And if, while hearing all of this, you recognize areas where you need to mature, receive that awareness as grace, not condemnation. Because God transforms the soul that allows itself to be taught. If this message spoke to your heart, write in the comments, "Lord, shape my soul." And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. That helps this video reach others who need to hear the same truth. And if you want to keep learning how to discern relationships with wisdom, watch the next video.